Hey guys, just wanted to show you a quick video on some simple image editing. We'll kind of get into this more as the class moves on. But I have an image here that I grabbed that's kind of got some low light issues. So I'm just going to pull that into Photoshop. And again, I just like to drag and throw it onto the icon and it pops right up. So I have this image that when you start looking at images, you certainly want to evaluate the image prior to bringing it in and deciding to use it. And first of all, you need to make sure you have enough image size data. And we talked enough about that in the last video. So if the image size data isn't there, really doesn't matter what the composition is or the quality of the photo is, because you really shouldn't use it if it doesn't meet the requirements that you have for your targeted output or your end use. But we're going to get into some simple tonal correction, and we'll look at this image and just at a glance. We need to make sure again that it has the image data. Again, I've got plenty of image data for the small size that I would need at the end. I'm not really going to concern myself with that. I could go ahead and crop it and get it the right size, but I really just want to focus on color correction and tonal correction right now. So at a glance and looking at this image, there's really not a lot of what I call snap, or there's no pop to the image. There's not a lot of contrast and dynamic range. What I mean is from white, like on the end of his nose, to dark, black. I don't see anything that's dark black. So I think we can improve this image quite a bit using our layers adjustment panels. And so just in case you have some images that need some tonal correction, I want to show you a simple way, simple approach to doing tonal correction. And so we've got our layers panel up, and of course if any of these windows aren't open, if you look under window and look through here, you should have something that says layers. So I want to make sure I have that up. I want to use my layers panel and layers adjustments because it's really important that I don't destroy the original file or the original data. You can come up under image adjustments and make adjustments to the overall image, but other than going back through many undos through under edit undo, I really can't. I'm really affecting the original data. That's kind of a no-no in image editing, is that you don't want to affect the original file if at all possible. So that's the beauty of using the layers panel with the layers adjustment. So this looks like a little rectangle with a circle in it, provides a mask. The other one is my adjustments, my layers adjustments. So I'm going to pull up levels. You'll see lots of adjustments in here, but level is real easy to do for tonal correction. You can see some of these other areas that get into hue, saturation, color, and you just keep right on stacking those up inside of your levels panel. But I'm just going to add layers, and when I do that, you can see I get a little layers mask over the top of this layer. So it's just kind of like I'm looking down through a filter. And if you look over here on your properties, you should have popped up for you. You've got 3 points of adjustment. You've got your shadow, midtone, and highlight. And so you can see, looking at this little mountain range, this is called a histogram. Looking at the histogram, it shows that I don't have any image data over here towards my shadows, and that's reflective in the picture. There's nothing really dark over there, and there's not a whole lot of image data over here in the bright whites. So what I want to do is get over here and pull my shadow slider over here, and you can see it gets dark and dark. Obviously that's too far, right? So you kind of have to just get here and play with this. So I'm going to bring it in here. I'm not saying bring it all the way to the range, but I'm certainly going to slide it over to the right a little bit, somewhere in there. And you can turn off and on the little eyeball next to your layers adjustment layer with the levels, and you can see the before and after. That's again the beauty of using this. And you can see already that looks 100% better, that we've got a little snap and a little bit of contrast. You can adjust the midtones if you need to. Again, that makes it look too flat, not a lot of snap, so be careful with that. But I do want to brighten it up a little bit in here. And then I can drag my highlight slider over here if I need to really brighten up. But you got to be careful because now I'm blowing out the highlights and there's no detail in the highlights. So obviously I don't want to do that. So I do want to be able to see some of the texture of his hair inside of here. And again, this is something that you just kind of have to learn to do is learn to evaluate pictures and what makes it look better, what makes it, have enough dynamic range and enough detail. And we've got so much detail, we can even see the raindrops coming down on here. So again, this is before, this is after. So we've improved that image quite a bit just with using the layers adjustment panel. And again, my original is still intact. So if I didn't like that, I could throw that away in the trash. There's back to my original. But I like what I did. So I can just undo that delete, and there it is. And then again, I would save this. So if I ever want to get back into this, remember, if I save this as a JPEG, what's going to happen? Well, it's going to flatten all my layers. So if I do this as a JPEG and flatten it, it's all going to kind of go away to where I won't get a chance to readjust that again. So if I find that, if I look under my recent, my low light JPEG, there he is. You can see I don't have my adjustment layer anymore. So all that data is gone. So that's why I like to save a PSD file or a Photoshop file because it keeps my layer data for me. Okay, good luck on that.